Hello everyone, welcome to Japan ANZAC Hate. This deck is going to be a little different than the others that I've done so far. Duck season kind of fell flat because the actual lists weren't so great, so I wanted to make something good before I came back and made another video. This, ironically, this deck isn't actually doesn't its best matchup isn't Japan ANZAC. Its best matchup is pretty much everything else in the meta, but it does stand a chance against Japan ANZAC, which is more than a lot of decks can say. I'd wager this probably has about a 50% chance of winning against Japan ANZAC, just depending on mulligan and actual plays made during the game. So to start off, we've got this is a very interesting list, especially for this meta. Two Duress should be self-explanatory. You want to be playing this on pretty much anything you need to suppress. It's definitely your first signal regiments you want suppressed. Trying to think what else needs suppressed. Maybe a Type 93. Then we've got First Defense Battalion. And this is a strange inclusion, but it makes more sense than it looks. So this is a very mid-range deck. It's sort of value combo. But First Defense Battalion exists so that you can kill Dingo turn 1 or stop Dingo from proccing turn 1. If you go first and you have First Defense Battalion, the opponent can't just play Dingo and draw cards infinitely. Jasko should be very self-explanatory. Jasko is Jasko. You're taking one less damage to your HQ for every card. That is really, really important for First Signal Regiment. Hard counters it. It's important for that one new Japanese elite card that gives all of your opponent's cards a destruction effect that deals 1 damage. It's very good against weather effects. It's good against units just hitting face. It's just good. Jagro doesn't play a lot of really top-end units. The biggest one probably is Key 61 Hien. And even then, Jasko is still pulling its weight there. It's not 6 damage plus 2 damage, it's 5 damage plus 1 damage, which is a big difference when the meta is so lethal. Arado is probably the least important card in the deck, but it does a very good job of giving you the few orders that this deck actually has. If you need a Duress, you'll probably get a Duress. If you need an Overcast, you'll probably get your Overcast. It's a great turn 1 play because the density of orders is so small that you're probably going to get your turn 2 Overcast from it. We've got, this is the curve here. It's got 10 orders in total. Mostly units. It's a very unit-heavy deck. But all this infantry will make a lot more sense in a second. We've got Jaeger Regiment, which is basically just First Defense Battalion, but a little bit slower and more value-centric. It occupies the same job, but it deals with Jagro in the same way. Wirbelwind is the first tech piece in the deck. Wirbelwind is very overlooked right now. I'm not sure if it went into the reserve pool, but I don't remember seeing this card for a long time, and it's surprisingly good. Jagger, right? People are playing a lot of Blitz planes. They're playing Yokosuka. They're playing Hien. They're playing a lot of planes. Little Cobra. Planes with Blitz are really, really strong, and this effectively nukes their performance just by existing. So it's very, very good at just stopping face damage. Counter-Strike is really funny because it's actually decent right now. Typically, Counter-Strike is pretty poor because if your opponent knows it's up, they can just not hit face, or they can throw a crappy unit into it. But against Japan ANZAC, Counter-Strike is killing a Dingo, it's killing a Key 61, it's killing something that shows up and deals face damage. Um, it's also good again. It's good against burst damage, especially, which is the one kind of weakness of this deck. This deck can take a lot of punishment over the course of the game, but if you get down to 6 health and the opponent plays a burst damage card, you're just gonna die. So Counter Strike protects that pretty well. Volksgrenadier. Volksgrenadier is very interesting because it solves the one problem that US German decks have had forever, is that they have no healing and they have no guard. So despite all of their insane value generation tools, they really can't protect themselves from just dying. So they'll end up very far ahead on board and in hand, and then lose. So Volksgrenadier is a very good solution to that problem because it is a cheap above rate guard, and it's German. 142nd has been surprisingly good. I would wager that you could fit 4 copies of this card into the deck, and it would still function. It might even function better with 3 copies. I haven't gone that far because I'm not sure what to take out currently. It's pretty concise, this deck. Overcast is Overcast. It's very self-explanatory. It's in this meta right now, it's very good. And it's in this deck specifically because it allows you to get more plays into one turn. And that is really important when Jagro already does that, but better. The forecast cards are all very good at dealing with pretty much anything, so it's a really good utility. Getting the 2 defense is great because you're not face racing with this deck. It doesn't matter if the opponent has 2 more health too. It draws a card, so you're not behind on card draw, and it's that extra credit slot. It's just very, very good right now, especially with this high 4K slot here, because you want to be using your operation costs. You want to be moving dudes up into the front line. You want to be attacking with them. You want to be doing a lot of different things with this deck. Air Defense is a cute card. I actually like it less than Counter Strike, even though typically it's better because it's more specific in a way that the game happens. Or I guess it's more broad, rather. 3 damage to an attacking unit. This can clear a really nasty unit, especially an air unit. Air defense might as well just be a better counter-strike against air units, which are very popular right now. Missouri is just wrestling frontline control back from your opponent. It can delete 1 priority target, like Dingo. It's very good when you want the front line. Very good insurance. 5th Ohio is just good. It's really hard not to put 5th Ohio in a deck like this, especially because it's so infantry-centric. It's cheap, it has a great removal condition, and it's just 1 card, you know. It's hard not to put it in the deck. Seahawk is where this gets really, really good. A lot of American decks at least, have Seahawk right now, and that's for a very important reason. The reason is that enemy cards dealing 1 less damage is ridiculously strong. Even after the Seahawk nerf, your opponent likely has to spend. It's a removal check, and it's a very, very good removal check, because if they can't remove it, then you get ahead on board, and they can't punch through A, your units, and B, your HQ. It's essentially Jasco, but for your whole board, and there's 2 of them. Then we have 5th Rangers, and typically this deck really enjoys the versatility of 5th Rangers, but it typically uses the 0 operation cost of the 5th Rangers, typically paired with Overcast. So you Overcast turn 2, and then turn 3, you go for 5th Rangers with 0 operation cost. It's very good at just being a dude, and this deck loves dudes that are just being dudes. 41st Infantry Regiment. This just got reworked, I want to say. I wouldn't say it was buffed or nerfed, because removing Bond is a buff, but it lost a health, which is significant. Typically you don't want to be using this for removal, although you can. typically you're getting weakened duets out of it just for that little bit of extra healing, and it also makes your board really chunky. Unity of Strength is also great if you just need to deal a killing blow. If you need to remove a problem unit and you have a unit in the front line, um, Unity of Strength can just be really great. It's also Blitz, so that helps. Here's where the deck gets really good. 162nd Regiment. This has been a very overlooked card right now, and the deck is pretty based on it. It's not based around having it, so to speak. If you don't get 162nd, the deck still functions. But if you get 162nd, the deck is really hard to get through. You're just dealing with all of these really chunky, buffed from rain, buffed from we can do it, big chunky infantry just sitting there, and they can't die by combat at least. Um, Reducing combat damage dealt to your infantry is reduced to 2. The rest of the text is almost insignificant because you're hardly ever going to get that condition of playing a rain card when you have a full board of damaged infantry. But it does exist, and you will be playing rain out of your forecasts. But combat damage being reduced to 2 for infantry is ridiculously strong because you can just, I mean, suddenly Volksgrenadier doesn't have 5 health. Volksgrenadier has to have 3 attacks sunk into it. So, it's decent. Crossfire. This one is pretty hateful. You can use it against more value-centric decks or pretty much any deck. Crossfire is just an amazing board clear. It's very easy to get this effect off because of your 1 damage units, like 1st Defense Battalion, Jaeger, Arado. Duress can be used to reduce a unit to 1 health. It's pretty easy to reduce a unit to 1 health and thus fulfill the condition, or the enemy just plays a unit with 1 health. So it's a very, very good board clear, and I wouldn't remove the second copy of it, because this deck does not cycle very quickly. It has draw, but it is more so incidental. You're basically playing off Arado, Jaeger Regiment, and Overcast, along with the generated cards from 41st. It's not nothing, but it isn't very draw-centric. You're going to be going through 1 card at a time. Tiger Cat is in the deck because it's just a very big threat, and it's very hard to justify removing 162nd or a 5th Rangers or a Seahawk or a Jasco if Tiger Cat is on the board. You have to deal with the Tiger Cat because it will win the game on its own. And Seaborn Invasion is here as your oh shit button. You just need that top end in order to wrestle control from the game for 1 turn, or it'll either win you on the spot or you were already lost. And that really depends on what's in the opponent's hand and what you're retreating, but it can win you the game, so it would be dumb not to put it in the deck. It's just a card that increases your win rate. So after that analysis, we're going to get into a game. Is either Legions. Legions has gotten really popular recently, even though Japan ANZAC is better. But if it is Japan ANZAC, this is a pretty decent hand. I probably keep a 2nd Defense Battalion just because a 15th Cavalry is still likely. And if I have to sink a 1st Defense Battalion into 15th Cavalry, it's not going to be ideal. I will play the 1st Defense Battalion because Shibata isn't threatening it. And it chains into the 2nd. Okay, so this is, in fact, Japan ANZAC. And I'm honestly going to ignore Shibata because I'm not playing any orders. If I need to, I can duress it. There we go, and that's why Duress is here. Seahawk prevents me from taking that damage. Ciabatta is useless. Ideally, we get our 5th Rangers into the front line next turn. And then the turn after, we get our 162nd. He goes for another double Sunrise, and I suspect it's because he has something that he wants to play. That works. I'm going to say that 5th Rangers can deal with that. 5th Rangers isn't dying here because of Seahawk. But it is annoying. He is allowed to get Dingo value or expansion now. I can always Duress this a second time. But if I have to, I think... I think I do Duress it just to keep this alive, because I'm going to go for a we can do it here. I do not want him to have the front line, ever. This is kind of fine here. I'm not planning on playing we can do it this turn, so it would be a waste. He can't clear that right now, which is fine by me. 5th Ohio is great. I'm going to go for a mist. This torrential rain is very good. And so is playing that. Okay, he wants the front line. Naturally. This isn't as threatening as it looks. I'm just going to get my second Overcast. That torrential rain is very good here. I'm going to go for a second Overcast. Now this Monsoon Rain is actually really decent in this deck, so I'm going to pick that one. And I'm debating whether I go 5th Ohio or Infantry Regiment. I think generally it's correct to go for 5th Ohio on Type 93. He's getting a lot of gas here, but I'm going to be, hopefully, getting the front line. I mean, shit, I might just go for a fucking Seaborn. This is a really pivotal moment in the game. I've got my Missouri. I've got a lot of things I can play. But generally speaking, I think it would be better to go for the Seaborn here. And then I want to clear the Type 93. Hold on. Okay. Oh, here we go. Why did that happen? That's strange. Oh, I had Jasco. Yeah, this is really brutal for him. I'm gonna go for the Wirbelwind and the Volksgrenadier into this torrential rain. And then I just kind of get to chew on his HQ for free. That hurts, but it's not as bad as you'd think. I'm gonna end up doing a really funny play here with 142nd. Being able to operate a second time means I can just kind of kill his dudes. And I've moved my units this way so that his, whatchamacallit? Oh, his Gale, the 5 damage one, can't kill both. That's fine. Let's see, 4, 6, 7. That works. I can eat the Shabbat damage naturally because I'm healing. Okay. This is just very good. Fifth Rangers goes in the front line, so does this. Now, this is what Wirbelwind is meant to stop. I think here, probably go for, Actually, I think I'd go for the Unity as strength. Let's see which one of these has the unit I want. 5th Rangers, suppressed, 41st. I'll go for this one because it's guarding the Q61. I'm gonna pin all enemy units. Unity is strength. Get my 2 health off this guy. I'm debating on whether Tiger Cat or We Can Do It is stronger here. So let's think about it. I think Seahawk might be better, but Tiger Cat Seahawk looks interesting. He surrenders. So that is the most favorable matchup. That was Japan ANZAC, and we hated him pretty well. Got another Japan deck here. Not ruling out the possibility of Japan ANZAC. Actually, like Missouri less, but this is a decent hand. The question really is if he plays a blitz unit readily enough. I'd like to keep Missouri for when I take the front line. I'm gonna throw back 162nd just because I think that's definitely better. Going first, we naturally have the advantage with first Jaeger. I don't think I actually do anything other than that. I can let him have the front line, I can let him draw off the expansion. I just want to use Jaeger as a value tool. Volks Grenadier looks really good here. This just works. That's a really interesting target for Task Force to hit. He does not like that guard unit. He's gonna opt for a big play, but I feel pretty secure here. In fact, I feel so secure, I'm gonna push all of this. Especially since I have 142nd now. Doesn't feel half bad. Okay. Okay. That doesn't help him too much, but it stops me from getting Jaeger value. Sadly, I think the best play is just to end my turn. Although, what happens realistically? I think the best play is probably one Jaeger into the front line on the Type 92. That makes sense. He trades into that, I get 2 health. I'm gonna go for 162nd. I could have gone for 41st, but I like getting the blitz, and I don't really have great options with the develop right now. I want him to overcommit so I can either use Missouri or Crossfire. That's an interesting use of his cards. I'll go for the we can do it here. The longer you have the front line in these matchups, the better, because he's sitting there right now with a dingo, with an expansion, with a couple of cards that he just can't use. So he looks like he has a full hand right now, but he might not have a whole lot of plays. He's trying to get the damage in quick. I'm gonna go for Wirbelwind here until we can do it. That's very good. Can't blitz fighter nonsense us. I still have the front line. And Seahawk is coming down. The big question right now is that he might just have the ammunition that he needs to ignore my board and hit face. So I'm going to go for a mist here. This is very good, at least right now. And I'm going to be playing Seahawk into that. Did I play Seahawk before attacking? I did. Good job, me. See, Wirbelwind single-handedly stopped me from losing on the spot to key 61, so it's definitely a tech choice right now. He opts to kill Seahawk naturally. Well, 162nd right here is insanely strong. And then I'm going to go for the Torrential Rain. Now attacking into that is only dealing 2 damage to my 5th Rangers. And there you go. Opponent sufficiently hated. So that has been this deck guide so far. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.